5 key takeaways from Steve Borthwick's England squad to face Scotland following the confirmation of England's 23-man squad to face Scotland at Murrayfield this weekend. Steve Borthwick has once again made his intentions abundantly clear. Stability, cohesion, and trust in combinations appear to be the guiding principles behind his latest selection, as England look to build momentum after their emphatic 48-7 victory over Wales. While there are only minor tweaks on paper, the decisions within the matchday squad reveal plenty about where Borthwick believes his side is heading, how he wants them to play, and which players are beginning to cement their roles as England's core group. Here are the 5 key takeaways from England's selection to face Scotland. 1. Stability above all else at first glance. England's selection looks conservative. Only one change has been made to the wider 23-man squad, with Finn Smith replacing Marcus Smith among the replacements. Within that, Borthwick has made just 2 alterations to the starting 15. Luke Cowan-Dickie comes in at hooker, and Captain Maro Itoje returns to the run-on side, while Jamie George and Alex Coles shift to the bench. This level of continuity is striking, particularly when compared to England's autumn campaign, where Borthwick frequently rotated personnel and combinations in search of clarity. This time, the message is unmistakable. The performance against Wales was not a one-off, but a blueprint worth backing. The starting backline remains completely unchanged. Freddie Stewart continues at fullback, with Tom Roebuck and Henry Arundel on the wings, Tommy Freeman and Freeman-Dingwall in midfield, and a halfback pairing of George Ford and Alex Mitchell pulling the strings. That decision alone signals a growing confidence in how England want to attack and control games. Up front, Itoje and Cowan-Dickie are the only changes to the pack that dismantled Wales. Ben Earl, Sam Underhill, Guy Pepper, Ollie Chesham, Joe Hayes, and Ellis Genge are all retained, meaning that the 14 forwards named across the matchday squad are exactly the same as last weekend. Borthwick's faith in this group suggests he believes they are beginning to understand the demands of his evolving game plan. With limited preparation time during the Six Nations, continuity can be just as valuable as form, and England will arrive in Edinburgh with combinations already sharpened by recent success. 2. The backline is settling into place. Perhaps the most telling aspect of the selection is the unchanged backline. Despite George Furbank suffering a head knock last week, Freddie Stewart retains the number 15 shirt, a sign that he is once again viewed as England's first-choice fullback rather than a stopgap option. The same applies to Tom Roebuck and Henry Arundel. Both wingers were outstanding against Wales, offering aerial security, pace on the kick chase, and a genuine attacking threat when given space. Their retention suggests they are no longer experimental selections, but trusted components of England's wider attacking structure. At halfback, George Ford and Alex Mitchell continue their partnership, which increasingly looks like Borthwick's long-term solution. Ford's control, tactical kicking, and calm decision-making were central to England's dominance last weekend, while Mitchell's tempo and sniping threat provided balance around the ruck. Finn Smith's inclusion on the bench provides insurance and flexibility, particularly if England need to shift gears and attack. His selection over Marcus Smith hints at a preference for a like-for-like replacement at fly half, rather than a more instinctive, free-roaming option. Taken together, these decisions underline a clear direction. England want clarity in roles, consistency in execution, and players who are comfortable operating within a defined framework rather than improvising on instinct alone. 3. Dingwall and Freeman look here to stay. In midfield, one of the most intriguing areas of England's evolution under Borthwick has been the midfield. Over the course of his tenure, combinations have been rotated relentlessly. Henry Slade and Ollie Lawrence were early favorites, while Slade has also been paired with Freeman-Dingwall, Seb Atkinson, and Max Ojimo. Dingwall and Lawrence have had their opportunities too. Now, however, it appears that Freeman-Dingwall and Tommy Freeman are emerging as the preferred pairing. While they have only featured together 4 times in midfield at test level, their understanding is anything but new. Both players are mainstays at Northampton Saints, regularly starting at 12 and 13 in the Premiership, and have built a rapport over several seasons. That familiarity matters. Test rugby, especially away from home at Murrayfield, is unforgiving. Having players who instinctively understand each other's movement patterns, timing, and decision-making can reduce errors and increase attacking efficiency. Against Wales, Freeman's direct running was a standout feature. Often hitting hard lines back against the grain, he consistently generated front football, almost resembling a rugby league center in his approach. Crucially, much of that effectiveness was built on his connection with Dingwall. The inside center appeared to know exactly when Freeman would arrive at pace, releasing him into space or into contact at precisely the right moment. Even when Dingwall stepped in as first receiver, the communication between the pair was seamless. By retaining them for Scotland, Borthwick is giving the combination a genuine opportunity to cement itself. A strong performance at Murrayfield could see Dingwall and Freeman lock down the midfield roles for the remainder of the championship and beyond. The Pom Squad bench is central to the plan. England's bench has become one of the most discussed aspects of Borthwick's selections, particularly during the autumn. The head coach has leaned heavily into the idea of using replacements not merely to cover injuries, but as a decisive weapon. That approach continues this weekend, with England once again opting for a 6:2 split between forwards and backs. Jamie George and Alex Coles provide experience and control in the latter stages of the match. George's calm presence and set-piece nous could prove invaluable if England are protecting a narrow lead or trying to wrestle momentum back late on. With Bevan Rodd and Trevor Davison still relatively fresh to the test arena, George's leadership in the front row could be crucial. Coles, meanwhile, offers line-out security and physicality, particularly against a Scotland side that prides itself on contesting the set piece. Both players are familiar with the demands of the so-called Pom Squad and understand the impact expected of them off the bench. Around them, Tom Curry and Henry Pollock are set to be unleashed with minimal restriction. Pollock's athleticism and breakdown threat, combined with Curry's relentless work rate, give England genuine chaos-inducing options in the final quarter. The decision to select two halfbacks among the replacements also suggests tactical flexibility. It hints that Ben Earl could be redeployed into the midfield at some stage, injecting further pace and power into England's attacking shape late on point 5. The Marcus Smith dilemma deepens. Once again, Marcus Smith finds himself on the outside looking in. His omission from the 23, replaced by Finn Smith, is perhaps the most talked about aspect of the selection. It also highlights an uncomfortable reality for the Harlequin star. His versatility may now be working against him. Over the past year, Smith has been asked to play fly half, fullback, and utility roles, often within the same campaign. While that adaptability has value, it has prevented him from fully owning either the number 10 or 15 jersey. George Ford has reclaimed the fly half role with authority, offering structure, control, and a kicking game that underpins England's current strategy. Finn Smith, meanwhile, fits that same mold more closely than Marcus Smith, providing continuity in style if changes are required. There may be multiple factors behind his absence, but the broader picture is becoming clear. Marcus Smith is increasingly viewed as the versatile option rather than the focal point, a valuable squad member, but not the leading man in Borthwick's system. Final thoughts: England's squad to face Scotland may not be headline-grabbing in terms of change, but it is rich in intent. Steve Borthwick is backing continuity, trusting combinations, and doubling down on a game plan that delivered emphatically against Wales. The unchanged backline, settled midfield, impact-driven bench, and firm handling of the fly-half hierarchy all point to a coach who believes his team is beginning to understand its identity. Saturday at Murrayfield will be a significant test of that belief. If England can deliver another cohesive performance, this selection may be remembered as the moment Borthwick's England truly began to take